Hello and welcome. Tonight, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and former River State Governor Nyesom Wike blames Governor Siminalayi Fubara for the violence in the state. Mr. Wike accuses the governor of disobeying court orders. The River State Governor vows to take decisive action against those responsible for setting ablaze 3 local government secretariats in the state. Governor Siminalayi Fubara sets up a judiciary of inquiry into the arson, killings and other forms of violence that occurred in the state. And the Supreme Court fixes October the 22nd for the hearing of a suit filed at least 16 states' governorship challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and 2 others.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's capital importation drops by more than 22% to $2.60 billion in the second quarter of this year, down from $3.37 billion recorded in the first quarter.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles get to business as 20 players hold first training session in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital ahead of Friday's 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya.
And from the nation's capital, media and communication experts identify ethical and responsible journalism as critical for national security and development.
And in international news from London, Israel says it intercepted more than 100 rockets fired by Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as projectiles launched by Yemen's Houthis and from Hamas in Gaza on the 1-year anniversary of the October the 7th attacks.
The former governor of River State and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, Nyesom Wike, says instructions have been given to his lawyers to approach a court to set aside the judicial panel of inquiry set up by the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara to investigate those behind the burning of secretariats in the state. He explains that the violence in River State would have been avoided if his successor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, had followed the rule of law and the pronouncement by the court. He spoke on our political program, Politics Today.
No person who believes in the peace and stability of any nation will say that you want to support violence, will say that you want to support destruction, will say that you don't want people to live in harmony. But what is important is that when there's violence, when there's instability, it is for you to ask question. What has led to that violence? What has led to instability? What has led to destruction? If at all, it's very key. I've said, I was a governor. I've always obeyed the rule of law. You heard the governor said that our state is turning to a state of anarchy where people do not obey the rule of law, where people do not obey the rule of law. What is obeying rule of law? You must respect. You must obey the judgment of court. A governor came out on national television, not local television, to tell the world, I will not obey court judgment.
Did he say that?
Yes. In fact, to crown it all, he said there was no way in the judgment that the court said the election should not hold. He went as far as to say, I do not need police before I conduct an election. When somebody says, I don't need police, what are you saying? I'm inviting violence. Hoodlums will take opportunity, saying police will not be involved. In that case, who is the perpetrator of that violence? Governor is the architect of the violence.
For the sake of peace, what in your own power do you think can be done?
Obey. The rule of law is the only thing that can bring peace.
And you think that it's up to Governor Fubara?
It is him. Who will support violence? Who will support destruction? Now you talk about panel of judicial inquiry. The governor said that this is the handwork of his political opponents. Could it be you? No, but having known them, what are setting up a panel of inquiry? You know them. All you need to get police, arrest them, charge them for arson. You know them, you have said so. So what is the basis of judicial panel of inquiry? I know that, look, I have told our lawyers this afternoon, go ahead and set aside those rubbish. That's rubbish.
What will Wike do?
What Wike is
To
going
allow
to
for
do,
peace.
obey court judgment. Allow the rule of law to prevail. Because if you don't obey the court judgment, if you don't adhere to the rule of law, you are bringing anarchy.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has inaugurated a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate the violence that recently erupted in some local government areas in the state. According to the governor, the commission was long overdue, recalling that a similar incident occurred about a year ago, which he chose to overlook. Governor Fubara also noted the troubling similarities between the current situation and events that unfolded before the 2013 and 2014 periods, which are marked by courtroom disruption, arson and assassinations. The commission, which will work on a 9-point mandate, is expected to submit its report in 1 month.
The proceedings at the Rivers State Government House in Port Harcourt commences with the swearing-in of 4 new commissioners who had been screened and confirmed the previous day. The ceremony comes a day after the arson attack on 3 council secretariats by suspected political thugs. Governor Fubara once again condemns the violence and warns that culprits will be brought to book.
That this state is gradually turning to, would I say, a kingdom where law and order are no longer the order of the day. And we can't fold our hands and allow such a thing to happen. So I've decided to take this action to find out the immediate and remote causes of this, and most importantly, no matter the personality involved, we must bring them to book.
The governor also has a charge for the newly sworn-in commissioners. He seeks their active involvement in his efforts at addressing pressing socio-economic challenges with a particular focus on combating crude oil theft. The commission will investigate the violence that erupted on Monday, October 7, when newly elected council chairmen were assuming office. Governor Fubara then officially inaugurates the 7-member commission. The commission is chaired by Justice I.R. Menakiri of the Rivers State High Court, while Mrs. Inyigi Brown is appointed as secretary. Mr. Uzo Ikenga is to serve as counsel to the commission. Governor Fubara, in his charge to the commission, emphasized the importance of a thorough and impartial investigation into the violence.
So this assignment is a very, very important assignment. It's an assignment that, if it is not done rightly, will give this enemy of the state opportunity to continue. And if we get it right, it's going to be the end of further destruction of public property in the state.
In response, the chairman of the commission stresses the critical need for a safe and secure society.
On behalf of the members of this commission, that by the special grace of God, we will not fail the governor that has appointed us today, and will not fail Rivers State.
The 9-point mandate of the commission, as outlined by Governor Fubara, includes identifying the cause of the violence and those involved, regardless of their status, assessing the effectiveness of security agencies in responding to the violence, and recommending compensation and sanctions. The commission has 1 month to submit its report.
The People's Democratic Party women groups in Edo State have vowed to reclaim their mandate from the electoral umpire INEC following the outcome of the September 21st governorship election in the state. The women took to the protest to the Nigerian Union of Journalists Secretariat and the Edo State House of Assembly complex, both in the state capital in Benin City.
The PDP Secretariat is the muster point for the women's wing. Dressed mainly in black, the women say they are going to the streets to announce to everyone that Asue Ighodalo is the rightful winner of the Edo governorship election of September 21st, 2024. The first destination is the Secretariat of the Nigerian Union of Journalists.
Vote for AI. Asue Ighodalo. You can see we mothers are here today. We are in pain. We are mourning. We are on plan, telling them to give us back our stolen mandate. Our stolen mandate. That mandate was given to AI and to Saradio Oke as the deputy.
The protest march resumes on the streets along the popular King Square axis in Benin City. The movement terminates at the front of the State House of Assembly complex. Again, there's a message. The complaints are passed on to the lawmakers.
We are not fighting, but we are just protesting for our mandate to be given to us. This is a very peaceful protest. You see the way we have been going about it, doing the right thing at the right time. We are very, very responsible mothers. We have grandchildren. The police should stay off this. The soldiers should stay off this. INEC should bring all the papers in their possession so that they will read, they will review and give us back our mandate.
The Edo State Assembly acknowledges the petition, asking the women to explore the legal options of redress.
Government have enough institutions to redress any form of injustice that is meted at. As bad as we might feel, as defeated as we might feel, as angered as we might feel, we must continue to keep hope alive. We must continue to believe in the processes of redress.
The PDP women insist that this protest is not a one-off event and that their agitation will only stop when Asue Ighodalo is declared winner of the September 21st governorship election in Edo State.
In part two, after the break, the Vice President Kashim Shettima unveils the framework for the federal government's comprehensive vision for the nationwide nutrition program to address malnutrition and food insecurity in Nigeria. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and former River State Governor Nyesom Wike blames Governor Siminalayi Fubara for the violence in the state. Mr. Wike accuses the governor of disobeying court orders. The River State Governor vows to take decisive action against those responsible for setting ablaze 3 local government secretariats in the state. Governor Fubara sets up a judiciary inquiry into the arson, the killings, and other forms of violence that occurred in the state. And the Supreme Court fixes October the 22nd for the hearing of a suit filed by at least 16 state governments challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and 2 others. And U.S. President Joe Biden has pleaded with residents of Florida in the path of Hurricane Milton to follow official instructions. Progressives Congress, the APC, has assured the people of Edo State that work towards the development of the state will commence right after the swearing-in of the governor-elect and his deputy next month, as they are determined to bring progress to the state. The leaders of the party, who disclosed this during the party's victory rally for Edo South in Benin City, also thanked voters for giving them the mandate to serve.
The APC Edo South victory rally following the outcome of the 21st September governorship election has drawn party faithful and supporters from the 7 local government areas in the district to the ground of the University of Benin. The occasion also affords APC leaders in the state the opportunity to express their gratitude for the party's victory at the polls.
We want to thank our leader, Comrade Senator Adams Eric Oshomole. And we thank the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for giving us a minister. When God wants people to fail, they begin to make mistakes. Allowing Philip Shaibu to leave the party was a terrible thing. Philip Shaibu, oh yeah! Philip Shaibu, oh yeah! We are the winners and not the losers. We are what God says we are. I want to thank everybody that worked for this victory. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
Former Governor of Edo State and leader of the APC in the state, Adams Oshomole, who assures the people there would be no delay in the commencement of work to develop the state, thanks President Bola Tinubu for a peaceful election.
The governor and the deputy governor-elect are ready to hit the ground running. After wasting 8 years, you will understand why we cannot afford to waste even 1 more second. And like others have said, we thank Mr. President for assuring that there was free and fair election. Why are we emphasizing this? The President said the election must be free and fair. Even though you will ask yourself, when you see some people doing the thing they did against us in uniform, you will wonder why they do that. But like I said, what you have prevailed, we have no right to grudge anymore.
The messages of the Deputy Governor-elect Dennis Idahosa and Governor-elect Monday Okpewolo captures their gratitude and determination to serve.
We are here today to thank you. We have campaigned in the 77 wards that makes Edo South. Yeah. You have shown us love. We have won the election, and it's time to say thank you.
I want to thank our leader. From day one, he was with us. Every area we visited, he was there. He was called Osho Baba. For that reason, I believe working for the people pays. And I'm promising you that I am going to work for Edo people.
From the speeches, the mood again quickly shifts to one of celebration as the party continues to relish its victory in the 21st September governorship election.
The Supreme Court has fixed October the 22nd for the hearing of the suit filed by 16 state governments challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC. A 7-man panel of justices led by Justice Uwani Abaji fixed the date after the states were joined as co-plaintiffs and the leave granted for the consolidation of the case in the suit originally filed by Kogi State government through its Attorney General. The states that joined in the suit includes Ondo, Edo, Oyo, Ogun, Nasarawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, Jigawa, Enugu, Benue, Anambra, Plateau, Cross River, and Niger states.
The Attorney Generals of 16 states are in the courtroom of the Supreme Court to challenge the laws that establish the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The states who filed the suit are relying on the fact that the Constitution is the supreme law and any law that is inconsistent with it is a nullity. Citing the case of Joseph Nwobike versus the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the states argue that the EFCC Establishment Act was culled from a United Nations Convention Against Corruption. Their belief is that the law, which was enacted in 2004, violates Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution. They further argue that bringing a convention into the Nigerian law requires that the provisions of Section 12 must be complied with. According to them, the requirement is that most state houses of assembly must concur with the law. Hence, they argue that any institution formed that way should be regarded as an illegal institution.
In this regard, we are looking at institutions of the federal government set up to investigate resources and funds belonging to states, ICPC, FCC, whether indeed in a federal system of government, the current arrangement that we have, whether that is the way it should be. If the federal government of Nigeria is indeed federal, and we have a central government and other federating units that are supposed to be coordinated and independent, whether funds that have been allocated to them, that have been disbursed to them, still remains funds in respect of which federal agencies have powers to investigate and prosecute.
Justice Uwamusi Abba Aji subsequently adjourned the matter to October 22nd for hearing.
Meanwhile, the Senate has asked the federal government to increase budgetary allocation to federal universities in the 2025 budget to take care of the challenges in Nigerian universities. Lawmakers also resolved to mandate the relevant committee of the Senate to liaise with the ministers of finance, education and other relevant ministries to immediately take steps to checkmate the increasing spate of brain drain in Nigeria. This resolution comes after the lawmaker, Senator Anthony Okorie, raised a motion on the growing challenge of brain drain, expressing worry over the poor remuneration and the working conditions of Nigerian university lecturers, whose salaries remain the poorest in the world. This is coming days before the expiration of deadline given to the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Our National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezoke reports.
Lawmakers on the first legislative day of the week are confronted by a range of issues, requesting urgent intervention, one of which is the nation's university system.
Senate notes that
amidst calls for better salaries for university lecturers and the challenge of brain drain, a lawmaker in a motion raises alarm.
The brain drain has assumed an unprecedented posture in recent times due to the current economic situation of the country. This should be a cause for concern as it threatens the survival of the country's higher education.
We are losing the best to the outside space, to the outside world. No nation progresses without a firm commitment to education.
These arguments come days to the end of the 14-day ultimatum of the Academic Staff Union of Universities to the federal government to resolve several lingering labor issues. The lawmakers unanimously adopt some resolutions.
Urge the federal government of Nigeria to increase budgetary allocations to the federal universities in the 2025 budget so as to take care of the seething problems of Nigerian universities.
The other compelling issue of flooding and the humanitarian crisis in Adamawa State is also whipped up in a motion by Senator Amos Yohana.
This worsens the already difficult economic and security situation affecting the people and will relapse in the internally displaced persons tragedy.
We are facing a serious danger. So what requires at this moment in time is not to be thinking of these specific palliatives. It's to come up with a Marshall Plan.
An additional prayer has been proposed that as part of the preventive measures to flooding, the River Niger and Benue should be dredged immediately and that adequate provision should be made in the 2025 budget appropriation of the federal government.
Meanwhile, the Senate has passed through second reading the Investments and Securities Bill 2024, which repeals the Investments and Securities Act 2007 and established the Securities and Exchange Commission as the apex regulatory authority for the Nigerian capital market. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezoke, Channels Television News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has unveiled a framework for addressing malnutrition and food insecurity in the country. The proposed program, codenamed Nutrition 774 Initiative, aims to improve nutritional outcomes across all 774 local government areas in Nigeria. Speaking at the roundtable with development partners at the Presidential Villa Abuja, the Vice President says this initiative aligns with President Bola Tinubu's broader focus on food security and availability across the country. He urges the development partners to support the proposed initiative, stressing the importance of monitoring at the grassroots level.
The N774 initiative is a very, very focused, multi-sectoral approach towards alleviating our challenges and anchored on demand-driven initiatives. But the most important item that I want to emphasize has to do with monitoring and evaluation. We have to incentivize local councils that have shown commitment, zeal, passion towards driving the process. The Supreme Court judgment on devolution of powers, especially to local government, is timely, and I can assure you that we leave no stone unturned to see that this initiative is driven at the local government level. The President is irrevocably, firmly committed to this initiative. The political will is there, and we'll play our own part well.
15 people have been rescued and 5 others still missing after 2 boats collided in Lagos. Although there have been conflicting reports about the number of those involved, the Lagos State Waterways Authority, LOSWA, says that there is no casualty at the moment. A statement issued by the agency says the boat collision occurred yesterday evening at the More area on Lagos waterways involving 2 vessels, Only God 13 and a wooden boat. According to the agency, at approximately 7 p.m., 1 boat traveling from Ebutero to Badagry with 15 passengers collided with a wooden boat carrying 10 passengers from the Alakija area to Imore. The statement adds that unfortunately, all 15 passengers on board, Only got 13, were rescued safely, but 5 passengers from the wooden boat sustained injuries and are now receiving medical attention. It also adds that regrettably, 5 individuals remain unaccounted for and search and rescue operations are still ongoing. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's capital importation drops by more than 22% to $2.60 billion in the second quarter of this year, down by $3.37 billion recorded in the first quarter. And that's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. We have more for you on the news at 10 as we go over to our Abuja studios now, where Terry Ikumi is standing by to give us more. Hello, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Anne. Media and communication experts have identified ethical and responsible journalism as critical for national security and development. The experts who spoke at the 4th International Conference of the Association of Media and Communication Researchers of Nigeria, AMCRON, emphasized the role of the media as a mediator and agenda setter for policies that shape national security.
Thank you very much.
It is the 4th International Conference of the Association of Media and Communications Researchers of Nigeria, holding in Abuja, an event that brings together communication experts to brainstorm on the role of media in national security. AMCRON is a media communication research organization, and it underscores the role of research in national security.
Many African nations today, Nigeria inclusive, are bedeviled with many security challenges. As we confront these challenges, research becomes an indispensable tool for developing strategies that are innovative, effective, and sustainable.
The importance of a free press and its role in setting agenda for national peace is highlighted by the keynote speaker.
there cannot be any democracy without a free press. And I submit that the other name for democracy is a free press. The media should be empowered to serve as mediating factor.
Professor Abiodun Adeniyi represented the chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, who stressed the importance of ethical and responsible journalism in national security.
The media's role in a democratic society is not one of mere reporting. It is a critical agent in shaping public understanding and engagement with national issues. In the face of national security challenges, this role becomes even more pronounced. The media serves as the bridge between the government and the public, and as such, it must exercise a heightened level of responsibility in its reporting.
The proliferation of fake news and propaganda occasioned by the advent of social media place additional responsibility on the mainstream media.
The risk of fake news, propaganda, and the weaponization of social media has complicated the role of the media in ensuring that truth prevails.
On the sideline of the event, the keynote speaker made a case for state police as a solution to Nigeria's lingering security challenges.
There's a need for government and policymakers to do what? To fast-track the process of having state police. The current police system cannot protect and provide the necessary ingredients for national security.
Media experts at this conference hope that the government will understand the critical role of the media in national security and foster a strong partnership with the fourth estate of the realm.
Some company news now. Sea Solar Energy Limited, in partnership with All On, has successfully developed and commissioned an 80 kWp solar hybrid mini-grid in Owe-Koroha community in Bayelsa State. The project, designed to provide 24-hour reliable electricity, will power 430 homes and businesses in the community, marking a transformative moment in sustainable energy delivery to the Niger Delta region.
I'm excited to share this event with you.
For over 2 months, Bayelsa State has been thrown into darkness following the collapse of electricity towers, leaving communities without a reliable source of energy. While repairs by the Transmission Company of Nigeria is still being expected, a glimmer of hope has appeared in Owe-Koroha. Sea Solar Energy Limited has brought light to this rural community through the commissioning of a solar hybrid mini-grid. With this new system, 380 residential connections, 39 businesses, 5 public institutions, and 6 productive use installations will now have access to uninterrupted electricity.
This is a thing, if you look for it for 100 million, you cannot get. And it has come to stay. We are happy. We are overwhelmed with joy.
The Chief Executive Officer of Sea Solar, Chibueze Eke, noted that this project goes beyond the mere provision of electricity. He emphasized that the mini-grid is a catalyst for community development and economic expansion, powering commercial activities and small-scale industries that are key to the region's progress.
I think this is just one of the many initiatives that are important to reduce carbon emission, to reduce the burning of fossil fuels, which affects the environment, and to be able to have a solution that is not just sustainable, but is also reliable and is able to actually help people in the community.
Owe-Koroha is one of the several communities slated to benefit from the Niger Delta electrification program. Officials are optimistic that this project will serve as a model for similar efforts across the region.
The Niger Delta has long faced significant challenges when it comes to electricity assets. At Olon, we recognize that to address these challenges, we need to create a sustainable solution that will truly make a difference in the lives of those living in this region.
They say it will bring light, brings life, because a lot of things will follow this light that has come to you in this community. So on your part is to protect these facilities.
With successful commissioning of this mini-grid, Owe-Koroha is now poised for a brighter future, powered by clean and sustainable energy. It is a milestone that promises to change lives and inspire further development in rural electrification.
Well, that's all from the nation's capital. Back to Anne in Lagos for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Terry. 80 small and medium enterprises have been giving a sum of 500,000 naira grant each, courts say the Stanley Uzochukwu Foundation, as part of its initiative to promote SMEs in Nigeria, at an empowerment grant award ceremony in Lagos attended by several dignitaries, including the former president of Sierra Leone and the CEO of Stanel Group, Stanley Uzochukwu, enjoined the awardees to make the most of the resources on offer.
This is a climax of 3 months of a rigorous selection process by a team of core business professionals. These 80 SMEs here have come tops from over 5,000 applications for the Stanley Uzochukwu Foundation Grant Initiative.
The initiative is more than just a financial lifeline. It is an investment in the future of our people. With a total of 40 million naira, allocated to support 80 SMEs nationwide.
They have been identified for investment and will also enjoy other support, including mentorship and masterclasses, to equip them with the requisite knowledge to scale up.
In the hierarchy of things, money doesn't come within the first 5 currencies of life. Only 4 people think that money is in the top 5 currencies of life. So they will squander relationship for money. They will squander goodwill for money. They will squander even their destinies for money.
The masterclass is delivered by Stanley Uzochukwu, Chief Executive Officer of Stanel Group.
One major key factor is the God factor. Hear me, there can be no prosperity without spirituality. One major key that can help you to be successful is by celebrating people that are where you want to be.
In his submission, His Excellency, former President of Sierra Leone, Ernest Koroma, enjoins young people to be prepared for leadership.
The presidency will not make you any different. The presidency will only reveal who you are. It will not add anything new. If that spirituality is not in you, prayer and everything, you believe that because you are now president, I should carry myself above everybody and should not have a creator that I should beg and pray to. Then you will suffer the consequence. You either end up as somebody who will become a dictator because you start running after yourself and you wanted to protect yourself because you are not delivering, or you earn your respect and popularity to people by people seeing what they have voted you for.
To crown the day's event, each of the 80 beneficiaries receives 500,000 naira check. By this initiative, the Stanley Uzochukwu Foundation has shown commitment to providing a strong backing to SME development in Nigeria.
Casualization in the Nigerian labor market is a subject of great concern, and the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring it plays the key role as a regulatory body on that matter. The 21st president of CIPM, Ahmed Gabir, made this known when he paid a courtesy visit to Channels Television headquarters in Lagos today to solicit support in its quest to promote best practices and expand its influence in the field of human resource management in the country. He used the forum to speak on the Institute's 56th Annual International Conference and Exhibition, which will be coming up on October the 14th in Abuja, highlighting the need for a review of the country's Labor Act.
We should all work together to ensure that at least we take casualization out of our employment vocabulary, in Nigeria. And this is because for every employee that you find worthy of working as a casual, in a workspace for 3 months, for 6 months, for 12 months, it certainly then means that you require that employee, in that role permanently. So why casualize the role? Now, one of the things that I also think that we need to do, and which we intend to do as CIPM, is to push for a review, of the Nigerian Labour Act, which, by the way, today is already 20 years old. So imagine using a Labour Act that is already 20 years old, without a review. That's part of my agenda. That's one of the things that I intend to also pursue.
Let's continue in the world of business. Here's Dominic Iwiu.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, Nigeria recorded $2.6 billion as capital importation. That's inflow of funds from abroad for fuel investments, trade and manufacturing in the second quarter of this year, and that's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. In its latest capital importation report for the period released today, the NBS says the amounts represent $771.51 million decrease when compared to the $3.37 billion recorded in the first quarter of the year. However, on a year-on-year basis, the amount is higher by 152.8% compared to the $1.3 billion recorded in the same quarter of 2023. Key breakdown of the inflows shows that foreign portfolio investments ranked top at $1.4 billion, while foreign direct investment generated the lowest foreign capital inflow at $29.83 million. It's reversal of fortune for the domestic stock market as it ends Tuesday's trading session in the red due to moderate profit taken by some investors. Ini John Mekwa has the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, there was a flip at the NGX today as we see 183 billion naira shaved off the market cap, and we're back to 55 trillion naira level, losing all of the gains of Monday's trade. And we also see right here the hope of hitting 98,000 is slimmer now, as we've lost a couple of hundreds right there. So the all-share index is down 0.32%, and it's because of MTN. So MTN lifted the market yesterday, and today MTN has brought the market into the red. So today it closed at 119 naira, dragging the market down. Let's look at the sectors now and see a broader picture of activities at the NGX today. See a whole lot of red there. Banking, some of those figures lost it. Consumer goods, real there. I mean, a bit of the gains from Dangote Sugar has been lost. So we see there 1.74%. Oil and gas, not even Owando and Seplat are able to help the counter. Today is the second trading day, but the bear is back.
And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Outside our shores still, U.S. President Joe Biden has pleaded with residents of Florida in the path of Hurricane Milton to follow instructions of the officials, and that people should have already been evacuated, as he insists that it is a matter of life and death. He says that there is potential for the storm to enter Florida as a hurricane and leave Florida as a hurricane on the Atlantic coast. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israel says it has intercepted more than 100 rockets fired by Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as projectiles launched by Yemen's Houthis and from Hamas in Gaza on the one-year anniversary of the October the 7th attacks. Overnight, rocket warning sirens continued to sound in northern Israel. The Israeli military said it was expanding operations against Hezbollah, warning residents in southern Lebanon to avoid using boats in the sea or rivers south of the Awali River.
Iran's nuclear program.
Israel's former prime minister has said now is the time for the country to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. Naftali Bennett said Israel had a once-in-a-generation opportunity to launch such a strike.
Centrifuges.
The main suspect in the disappearance of a 3-year-old British girl, Madeleine McCann, has been cleared by a German court of rape and sexual abuse in an unrelated trial. Christian Bruckner was acquitted of carrying out 5 offences in Portugal between 2000 and 2017. He is already serving a 7-year jail term in Germany for rape. Bruckner has not been charged in the case of Madeleine McCann, who disappeared in Portugal in 2007 and has never been found. Bruckner's defence team had argued he should be cleared because of a lack of evidence. His existing 7-year jail term, imposed by the court in Braunschweig in 2019 for raping an American pensioner, ends next September. After the verdict, the state attorney criticised the decision.
We believe that the decision is wrong, so we will appeal to the Bundesgerichtshof, the German Supreme Court, so the Supreme Court can check the verdict for mistakes. The ruling has no direct impact to the Medi case because the findings of this court are not binding.
US officials have warned of the threat to life posed by Hurricane Milton, which briefly became a Category 5 storm before returning to Category 4 as it heads towards Florida. Milton is still packing ferocious winds of up to 155 miles per hour as it moves past the northern edge of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Forecasters from the National Hurricane Center say potentially catastrophic storm surges are possible along coastal areas. The storm is expected to hit the heavily populated city of Tampa Bay with full force on Wednesday, less than 2 weeks after the state was hit by Hurricane Helene. Floridians have been told to prepare for the state's largest evacuation effort in years.
We can't control how strong or weak this storm will be when it hits the state of Florida. We can't control the path of the storm. The only thing that we can control is the decisions that are made on an individual level to be able to protect yourself or your family.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has sent a birthday message to Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling him his closest comrade. Kim congratulated Putin on his 72nd birthday, adding that relations between both countries would be raised to a new level. Relations between Pyongyang and Moscow have deepened since the start of the Ukraine war, in a move that has worried the West. Separately on Tuesday, Kim said Pyongyang would speed up steps to make his country a military superpower with nuclear weapons. A US federal judge has ruled that Google must allow Android apps made by rival technology firms onto its Google Play App Store for 3 years, starting next month. The change was among several remedies ordered by Judge James Donato in a case brought against Google by Epic Games, the maker of the hit video game Fortnite. Google says it will appeal against the decision and ask for a pause to the proposed remedies. In December, a jury sided with Epic, which says Google stifled competitors by controlling the distribution of apps and payments on Android phones. And the magnificent Aurora Borealis has appeared in Heilongjiang province in China's northernmost city. Auroras are caused by the Earth's natural electrical fields in both the northern and southern hemispheres. The most famous is the Aurora Borealis, which appears in high latitude regions of the northern hemisphere. Located at China's highest latitude, Mo is one of the best places in the country to observe nature's light show. Numerous photographers come to chase the aurora every year. The city has experienced the dazzling light shows multiple times since the beginning of 2023. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles interim coach Augustine Eguavoen says his team knows the importance of Friday's 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya and must make good use of their home game in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, to pick up all available points. Coach Eguavoen admits the absence of forward Victor Osimhen is a big miss for the team. He is, however, confident that the other strikers will step up. Enyimba's head coach Daniel Olarinwaju is confident of his team's chances in the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup, where they are drawn in Group D with the defending champion Zamalek SC, their compatriot Al Masry, and Mozambique's Black Bulls. Coach Olarinwaju says the two-time African champions will approach each game with determination. That's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and former River State Governor Nyesom Wike has blamed Governor Siminalayi Fubara for the violence in the state. Mr. Wike accused the governor of disobeying court orders. Also, we told you the River State Governor has vowed to take decisive action against those responsible for setting ablaze 3 local government secretariats in the state. Governor Siminalayi Fubara sets up judiciary of inquiry into the arson, killings and other forms of violence that occurred in River State. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Onwawadu. Good night and stay safe.